Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm no Tom Cruise.
All I want to do is grow old with you.
Aww.
Welcome to episode 292, No Way Out of Texas, in your house.
In your house?
We're three men.
Whoa, 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 in your house.
We've gone too far, but we'll be able to find our way out of this show.
No way. Way?
Way?
Maybe into your house.
Yeah, which we are. Inside of.
That is true.
Let's make this more awkward.
So this is the 20th In Your House, produced by WWF. It would take place on February 15th, 1998, from the Compaq Center in Houston, Texas, with an attendance of 16,110.
It's nice. It's a good number. Like, well, it was 2,000 more. 2,300 more
for the Rumble.
For the Rumble.
Yeah.
And
11,000 more than sold out.
Yeah. And I do have the buy rate here, which was 150,000, which is half of the Rumble. But this is in your house. And they're drawing a respectable house and half the buy rate, but people are going to buy the big four.
Yeah.
So, I don't think this is despicable by any means.
But we are in Houston, Texas. So, Shane, did you do what you do?
I do believe I did what I do. Yes, we are in Houston, and I did what I do in the sense that I got on the old Google machine and looked up what are popular foods, beverages, whatnot in Houston and Texas in general. One thing I have not done yet is bring the official signature dessert of Texas, which is a tasty little treat, often found during the holidays or in general, whenever in Texas apparently, because it's their signature dessert. It is pecan pie. I did not, however, drive down to Texas to get one. I went with an Oklahoma original.
We're in Oklahoma.
Made it
They love it
Oklahoma
here, too.
classic. It's technically known as the world's best. It is the Fields pie. That's the brand, Fields. Their pecan pie. They've been a family tradition since 1922. There's a dessert dear to the hearts of Oklahomans and apparently Texans. It's pecan pie. If there's been a pecan pie Oklahomans have been willing to travel for, it's Fields pecan pie. I've seen the Fields pecan pie in my local freezer section for many, many years.
Same.
But on a trip last year to Austin, on the way there, I went through Pauls Valley, Oklahoma, where they have the Fields Pie restaurant, where they make all of their pies. Unfortunately, they were closed at the time, so I wasn't able to stop in and have a slice of pie from their little pie counter. But luckily, these ones are ready-made in your freezer. There is a baking option on it that you can do if it's frozen to heat it up, but otherwise you can just take it out of the freezer and sit it out for about an hour and a half, and it's good to go. You can cut slices directly out of the pie tin while it's still frozen. That way you can keep the rest of it frozen and just allow the pie slices to thaw out. You know, it takes about 20 minutes for each of them to be thawed. So Mac said this was his first slice or taste of pecan pie.
It was. Pecan's like my least favorite nut. So anytime pecan, so it's not something that I would go, yeah, let me get some pecan pie. But I rather enjoyed this. I'm not going to say that I'm going to go out of my way to have pecan pie, but if it were to be offered to me, I would take them up on it.
The history of Fields pies, it all started after World War I when two brothers, Lee and Julian Field, bought some land at the corner of Paul and Walnut in Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. The brothers began with a filling station and then added cottages. In 1925, they opened a small restaurant that they called Fields Tavern. This corner became a one-stop service center for travelers and busiest place in town because it was right off the newly constructed U.S. Highway 77. I guess their wives got involved and started cooking pastries in their homes for the restaurant, and they've kept a lot of the same recipes since way back then. They have equipment where they can produce 8,000 pies in one 8-hour shift.
That's bananas. I mean,
pecans. That's nuts.
That's all right. That was a cheap and bad joke. Thank you for laughing at it, guys.
Yeah, so I'm going to take my bite of pecan pie in front of the microphone here. It's nice and gooey in the center here. It's got some little toasted pecans on top, a little flaky pie crust underneath. Can't complain for an $8 frozen pie. It's not going to make any noise, but
and the one it will
you can at least listen to me talk with my mouth full.
Well, something that would happen right around the same time as No Way Out of Texas. Wedding Singer would hit theaters the same weekend.
Take the shirt off before they break up. I love this movie.
Yes.
It's
a classic.
I mean, the first two Sandler vehicles, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, great, they're funny, they're outrageous, but this one perfectly combines the ridiculousness of Adam Sandler as a character, but it tones him down, makes him more human, but the comedy and the characters around it are still just as funny. I think this is a magical movie because it doesn't quite. It's between Big Daddy and Billy Madison, where it gets it right, where it doesn't get too syrupy. Even though I think Big Daddy's a pretty good movie, but great. It's not as good as Wedding Singer.
It is in its own way because it plays more. This Wedding Singer to me plays more in nostalgia. It takes me back to the 80s where I'm picturing my brothers and sisters all dressed up in their 80s gear, listening to their 80s music, rocking their big crispy bangs, or wearing their leg warmers, all of it, listening to Van Halen, listening to, I almost said Queens of the Stone Age.
No.
Quiet Riot. You had all these great bands and just music from the 80s mixed with fun, interesting wardrobe, stupid words that, have still carried on till today. And then in this movie, you have all of that, plus just the cast in general that he put together isn't the typical dick and fart joke cast of characters that he had in other ones.
Everything about this is more thoughtful. The jokes are more thoughtful.
Mm-hmm.
The comedy, the plot, everything about it's more thoughtful.
Yeah, he's trying to get the girl instead of just trying to get the laughs. And
but
Drew Barrymore brings.
Do you know who did some uncredited script work on this?
I thought you were about to say music stuff, but no, I do not. Inform me, please.
Judd Apatow.
I figured him.
And Carrie Fisher.
Oh.
I know she was a script doctor for a long time.
She wrote a lot of the stuff for Julia, her main Drew Barrymore character. Yeah, to put some more of the feeling into it.
Yeah. It's funny that Carrie Fisher was like, okay, well, I'm Princess Leia, and I have a couple and then she just has small parts in movies, but she did work with a lot of. Yeah,
she was a huge script doctor.
Yeah.
A lot of times was uncredited completely.
Yeah, because the way Hollywood works.
Yeah.
You can only have two names to a script or whatever, but you can still pay people to work on stuff. But
cast-wise, Drew Barrymore, Christine Taylor, Alexis Arquette was phenomenal in this one.
Very funny. John Lovitz is great in this.
There we go. What's your name?
Steve Buscemi.
Angela Featherstone. Yeah, just everybody.
It's Sandler's crew.
Yeah.
Meeting an actually good script.
For sure, and
because the director of this movie goes on to basically direct a lot of Sandler stuff.
Really?
From this point forward.
But he's kind of the guy behind the camera because those Sandler movies, they feel like they start to turn into bizarre hangout movies over the next, like, there's a few after this, and then like post Waterboy, it's just kind of like, well, we're already making money hand over fist. We'll just throw something together. And the first two were funny 90s comedies, and this is the first one that's like, all right, let's try to add a little bit of heart to this. You get a little teary when Chubbs dies, but like, how much do you actually care about the character Billy Madison? He's a dickhead. He's not relatable. He's a rich kid.
He just wants to touch the hand.
Exactly. And this character, and this character just kind of wants to kill himself.
Look up director because I wasn't for sure name-wise who the hell it was just by seeing the name Frank Karachi.
But I mean, of those, this might be my favorite Adam Sandler movie. That's like Adam Sandler movie. Yeah, like that is attached to the Happy Madison of it all. Yeah, because like I said, I love those two, but this one stuck with me more. This is the first one I saw in the theater because the other two I had like rented on tape or whatever. But I saw this one in the theater. Yeah, which anytime you see something in the theater, if you like it, you like it a little bit more. Because that's what
the theater experience is always better.
Yeah, you're
sitting at your house.
You're locked in. You can't be bored or distracted. Like if you're bored or distracted, that you're just watching a bad movie. If you're waiting for it to be over, that's a problem. But
you even mentioned Billy Idol.
Yeah, Billy Idol.
Billy fucking Idol, man.
Yeah, the cameo is great.
Mm-hmm. Making a cameo all those years later, especially, and still looking almost the same as you did 15 years earlier. Yeah, me like. Not getting the joke, but still understanding of it is like, oh, I was listening to a lot of The Cure when I wrote this one. And then he goes into the Somebody Kill. It's like, The Cure no Cure song sounds like that, but like, that makes the joke funnier in hindsight. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, I was just bummed out. It's essentially what he's saying.
And this is another one of those movies that like, the soundtrack was just one of the best soundtracks.
Yeah, like, I never had this. I wonder what's on it, because I've always been a guy that...
Video Killed Radio Star, White Wedding, obviously.
Yeah. I guess I already know those two.
We got Kajagoogoo Too Shy. We got It's All I Can Do by the Cars. Spandau Ballet True.
Oh, love me
Space Age Love Song by Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah.
Private Idaho by B-52s.
The best B-52 single, in my opinion.
Money by the Flying Lizards. You Spin Me Round by Dead or Alive. Just Can't Get Enough, 345, or Depeche Mode.
Rapper's Delight.
Love Stinks, Jay Gow's Band. You Make My Dreams Come True, Hall & Oates. Madonna, Holiday.
Psychedelic Furs. Oh, there's, How Soon Is It Now? I guess you're looking at, Blue Monday's in here. Past the Dutch.
You're looking at Volume 2 over there.
I'm just looking at the, Wikipedia for songs that are in the movie. They probably didn't all make it to the soundtrack.
Well, there's a Volume 2 that they released that had a bunch more of the songs. Because, the first one basically is Culture Club, Police,
Do You Really
Smiths.
Yeah, You Make My Dreams, Hall & Oates, Holiday by Madonna. But, yeah, great movie, great soundtrack. I think that it is somehow an underrated Adam Sandler movie.
I mean, most people of our age would probably say it's their favorite.
Yeah.
Of the Happy Madison stuff.
Yeah. But it kind of stands outside of the other Happy Madison stuff.
It does, definitely.
Like I said, Big Daddy's kind of the only other one that is in this wheelhouse, but it's going for a different emotion, and it's not as goofy. It's more grounded in reality, even though this is too. But it has that benefit of taking place in a not so distant past. It's great.
I'm going to go watch it again now.
I know, I'm excited.
It's been a while.
Well, let's talk some No Way Out of Texas.
In your house.
In over 100 countries, in 7 different languages. And before a highlight package with narration. How does an athlete distinguish himself in the WWF? Some challenge the boundaries of their physical limits, sacrifice their bodies, mortgage their youth. Some go beyond.
Mortgage their youth. My God, what a poet.
Austin is a renegade in the embodiment of defiance. rants, cursing authority, combating the establishment. He'd just as soon spit in the face of the devil than shake the maker's hand. Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie embrace kamikaze-like practices, risking pain and injury in their sadistic attempt to satisfy. Meanwhile, the self-proclaimed New Age outlaws took their pursuit of notoriety to the horrifying edge and beyond. And we see various highlights continue as the narration says, "Has this nihilistic attitude polluted the spirit of competition? Have some men crossed sacred lines? Tonight, athletes who defy convention, adversaries who have gone too far, may dare go even further. Western Union presents No Way Out of Texas." Pyro goes off. Jim Ross welcomes us to the show, joined by Jerry the King Waller, and they talk about the mystery surrounding the main event. Who will join Triple H and the Outlaws? As Ross believes no one can replace Shawn Michaels, because he's hurt, obviously, from the Rumble.
Yeah.
He hurt his back. He hasn't wrestled since then. Basically, he woke up the next morning, could not walk. Couldn't get out of bed.
It was shocking to me because we covered the Rumble recently, and you pointed this out, but watching the show, I had no idea. We didn't watch a Raw or anything in between there, so I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was the match that fucks up Shawn. Because when I started watching as a kid was later in this year. And then I remember watching with my cousins probably early 99 or late 98, and Shawn comes out and on like Raw, and it's a big deal. My cousin's explaining it to me. So I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. Like, I was unaware. I know who Yokozuna was, because that was, I was younger and would catch it like a Saturday morning recap show or whatever sometimes, but I was completely unaware.
So we go to our first match. Marvelous Marc Mero with Sable, and the artist formerly known as Goldust with Luna Vachon versus the Headbangers of Mosh and Thrasher. And fans cheer Sable. They boo Mero.
Yep, JR points it out.
And he forces her to take his robe off, followed by Taka making his way out in Marilyn Manson cosplay. And we're shown footage of this past Monday's Raw at this point, where Vachon and Sable seem to have a disagreement at ringside. So Goldust looks to stop it, only to get slapped, followed by the two ladies slapping at each other. So it's not all
roses?
Yeah, that's the word. Sure. So back in the arena, Marc takes the mic to tell Luna he knows how she feels. There's only room for one beautiful lady tonight, and forces Sable to go backstage, which of course pisses off the fans.
I mean, I gotta kick it.
Mero starts off with strikes to Mosh, but misses a running elbow, allowing the headbanger to capitalize with a corner splash and a clothesline to the floor, where Marc regroups. Now back in the ring, the headbangers control the match with a Thrasher diving clothesline to Mero, a drop toe hold to Taka, and blocks a monkey flip with a kick to the gut. Thrasher continues with a clothesline, double axe handle, and a back body drop from Mosh, before Thrasher front suplexes his partner atop Manson Dust.
And we're getting Sable chants. Fans are not too pleased.
Drop kick from Mosh, double team clubbing when Thrasher goes for a bulldog, only for Marc to make a blind tag and change the momentum with a running knee lift and an elbow drop. And Thrasher looks to respond with shoulder blocks when Taka low bridges the ropes, sending the headbanger crashing out to the floor, where Vachon gets a few shots in, followed by Manson Dust dropping Thrasher head first on the steel steps, which busts him open.
Oh no.
And Mero and Taka focus on the cut, using stomps, punches, and knees to open it up even more, before Marc chokes with his wrist tape and hits a power bomb for a 2 count. Mero then goes for the TKO, only for Thrasher to counter it into a DDT and making the crawl for the hot tag. Mosh cleans house with right hands, followed by a double flapjack to Manson Dust for a near fall. Thresher then heads up top while Mosh sets up for a powerbomb, when Luna jumps on the apron, causing Thrasher to crotch himself. Sable then comes running back down to ring, while Marc delivers a TKO to Mosh. But instead of making a cover, he rolls out to prevent the ladies from fighting.
Why? Luna can defend herself.
Mm-hmm.
During all of the confusion, the Headbangers trade places, allowing Thrasher to roll up Mero when he comes back into the ring for the pin and the win. Post-match, Sable continues to scream at Vachon, wanting her in the ring.
They go nuts, but, the bows hold them back.
Until she shoves Manson Dust down and jumps in the ring, only for Marc and officials to prevent the catfight. Taka then carries Vachon backstage while Mero continues to argue with Sable. So she shoves Marc down, sending him walking to the back in frustration as she yells at him to leave her alone.
She's the last one to leave the ring. The Attitude Era has officially arrived. Fuck you, Russo.
Yeah, she's been working with an acting coach or something, because she actually showed a little bit of character in her just yelling at Marc.
That was the most character I've seen. I'm kind of I think the Headbangers are fine in the ring, but they don't have any character. You can't approximate what any of them sound like. Mm-hmm. They're just kind of, here's two guys from a rock concert.
Yeah, we'll put pantyhose and a skirt on this one, and boxers and leggings on this one.
Yeah. And then the Mero and Sable thing should be more fun, but it's like the Sunny effect, but without the talent. And this was the most we've seen out of Sable. Yep. I have no issue with her dressing him down from the ring. Mm-hmm. It looked believable.
We go to the back. Michael Cole is there with Owen Hart, the European champion. Mm-hmm. So since the last time we saw this belt, we've had a couple of interesting title changes. I kind of mentioned it at the Rumble, but we had the first finger poke of doom to move the belt from the Heartbreak Kid to Triple H, followed by an injured Hunter sending Goldust, dressed as Triple H, to face Owen Hart, with Sergeant Slaughter saying the ruse was quite convincing and considered it a proper title defense. And so Owen beat Goldust to win the belt.
Why would he say that? They don't look anything alike.
He was dressed as Triple H. He looked exactly like him.
Did he take his shirt off? Triple H?
Did Goldust not look exactly like Marilyn Manson?
Triple H doesn't wear a t-shirt.
He's dressed as Sable too. So
I get confused all the time.
I just wonder if it came down to the match and they put him down as like Triple G or GGG or something like that.
That would be very good.
Now, back in the locker room, Cole asks how Hart can coexist with Stone Cold. But Owen addresses who the mystery partner is. That he doesn't give a damn who they pick. And as far as for Austin, he'll stay out of Stone Cold's way if he stays out of his. Hart then turns his focus to Hunter, saying just because he's now the champ doesn't mean he's done with Triple H, promising to bust Hunter's legs. And we go back to the ring for Sonny coming out to be the guest ring announcer.
I know you want
for our next match, which is our second match. Pantera versus Taka Michinoku for the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah. People are still going absolutely bananas for Sonny.
And we get a replay from this past Monday where Pantera puts something in his mask before diving off with a headbutt to Taka to win the match.
Classic stuff, loaded mask.
Did you see what Sonny was wearing? Of course they were going crazy.
I mean, it was pretty awesome.
Brian Christopher also makes his way out to join the commentary booth with not his father. Michinoku ducks an attack and nails a wheel kick and some chops, but Pantera responds with an arm drag that sends Taka to the floor, with Pantera following out with a somersault plancha. Now back in the ring, Pantera keeps up the attack with another arm drag and a head scissors, but Michinoku avoids Pantera charging at him, sending his opponent crashing out to the floor. And Taka takes advantage with a springboard crossbody, forearms, and drop kicks, before backdropping Pantera to the apron, where he climbs, only for Michinoku to hit a double axe handle from the apron to stun him. Taka tries for another, but his opponent moves, causing Michinoku to hit his head on the turnbuckle, allowing Pantera to deliver a head scissors that takes them both to the floor. Pantera follows up with a tope suicida to send Taka back first into the railing, as Christopher makes a racist comment.
No way.
Yeah, and JR is like, tells him to chill out, but pretty seriously. He says slant high, and JR is like, yo, dude. It's like, it's like he's JR, so he like can't break a character because there's no character to be had for the most part. So, but he's like, hey, dude, chill. It's like he says something along the lines of dude, which is not a JR thing to say, especially on mic. But I was like, whoa.
Yeah, can you imagine in 1998, JR just looking over and like, bro.
Yeah. No, he's better than that.
Pantera begins to focus on the back with a backbreaker, chin locks, and variations of the surfboard, until Michinoku escapes, only to be back body dropped outside once again. And Pantera leaps over the ropes with a tope con hilo onto the back of Taka, before returning to the ring to lock on more surfboards, backbreakers, and a flying elbow to the back.
I mean, it was a pretty wild fucking fly to the...
Yeah.
This guy's, he's diving out like...
Yeah, Taka was like down on all fours. He just like flies over with a senton basically right under his back.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit.
Head first in the middle of the back.
Mm-hmm. It was more reminiscent of like a Darby Allin who really goes for it when he leaps after the... No half-assing here.
Michinoku fires up with the right hands and heads up top, but Pantera meets him there to land a super rana, a body slam, and a moonsault for a 2 count. Pantera tries for a second one, but it misses, as Taka rolls out of the way and goes to the top for a flying knee, followed by attempting his finish, only for his back to be too hurt to lift his opponent, allowing Pantera to roll Michinoku up for a near fall. A law magistral for a 2 count by Pantera before going for a hurricanrana, but Taka catches him with a powerbomb, followed by nailing a missile dropkick and the Michinoku driver for the pin and the win. Post-match, the win annoys Lawler and Christopher, so JR rubs it in their face by showing them a replay, before Brian just throws his headset down and looks to attack. And the King tries to hold Christopher back, only for Taka to springboard off the ropes with a crossbody onto them both.
Very fun.
Followed by escaping into the crowd as they both flanking in the ring.
Second favorite sign, WCW is gay.
Ted Turner to WCW.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? We gotta broaden it out. This is fun stuff. Champion working from underneath, and everything he did was pretty quick and clean and full of energy. These little guys got it in spades.
Kevin Kelly's in the AOL room interviewing Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie, asking their thoughts about DX's mystery partner. With Jack not caring who they pick, he just wants revenge, saying they have creative ways of doing it, and with their partners to help them. Kevin then turns to Charlie to ask what he thinks, with Funk saying he also doesn't care, before giving his fist nicknames, Hospital and Graveyard, and tonight he'll use them both.
Very, very stupid and funny.
Chainsaw Charlie continues that the Outlaws think pushing them in a dumpster was funny, but it wasn't funny at all.
It was pretty funny.
Kelly then plugs the AOL chat, with Cactus interrupting with a bang bang, followed by Funk throwing bang.
Yeah, I know. I caught it. Yeah. He was like, all right. Yeah.
Cracked me up.
He's used to pre-tapes. That's how TV worked for so long.
So we go to our third match. The Quebecers of Jacques and Pierre versus the Godwinns of Henry O. Godwinn and Phineas I. Godwinn. And the last time we saw the Quebecers were as the amazing French Canadians
at
World War III 1996.
See, that just blows my mind
Episode
that it's
229.
been that long since we saw them.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like... Wait, it's 93?
96.
Oh, okay. But yeah, still. It seems like it was more recent when we saw them. I guess it's because they don't stink, so they're memorable.
No, I always wanted more Jacques. Haha.
I was like, can I throw that joke?
Yeah.
Of course.
So we see footage from Shotgun Saturday night where the Quebecers attacked Henry at ringside, causing the Godwinns to lose to the Los Boricuas. So see?
Yep.
Some feuds start on Shotgun Saturday night.
Yep. The Godwinns using a bucket to spoil a win for the Quebecers.
And Jacques and Pig start us off, but the Quebecer continuously evades Phineas' attempts to lock up. So Hog slaps Pig to rile him up. Phineas with shoulder blocks, but Jacques retaliates with a dropkick and a backdrop suplex. So Henry tags in, only to get a knee to the back while running the ropes from Pierre, bringing Roulette in to trade armbringers. And Pierre escapes, but Hog just hair drags him down to the mat, only for the Quebecer to respond with a drop toe hold, bringing his partner in for double teams, which gets countered by a double clothesline from Henry. And the Godwinns continue to work the arm of Jacques with single-arm DDT, headbutts, hammerlocks, a diving knee, and a shoulder breaker. But after a reversed whip, Phineas catches Jacques trying to leapfrog with a spine buster for a 2 count, before ramming the Quebecer into Henry's boot. And Jacques fires up with a sunset flip on a telegraphed back body drop, followed by a jawbreaker. But ref distractions and cheap shots allow the Godwinns to remain in control. And Hog charges into a corner, only for Jacques to get his boot up, so he's able to make the crawl for the hot tag.
Coldest tag that I can possibly remember, as this has piss match vibes.
Pierre with right hands, clotheslines, and leg drops, before nailing a power slam to Pig for a near fall. And the Quebecers team up for a double hot shot, a pile driver, and the Tower of Quebec, which is that elevated senton bomb, on Phineas, but Henry makes the save. Jacques then tosses Hog out of the ring and leaps off the top out onto him, while Pierre continues the attack on Pig. Roulette then goes for an O'Connor roll, but Henry's back to the apron to land a clothesline, allowing Phineas to roll on top for the pin and the win.
Whoa. Some very scattered claps as no one is over.
Well, they're both heel teams.
I don't understand who they wanted us to
still
go
no
for.
one cares. Yeah.
Post-match, the Quebecers complain to the ref and raise each other's hands, which the Godwinns take exception to, so they nail Jacques and Pierre with their slop buckets before leaving to the back.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Quebecers are good. I don't think this match was, like, poorly plotted, but it's just like, well, it's proof that you can do a fine job, but if nobody cares, it really means nothing.
Yep.
Doc Hendricks is in the back with Billy Gunn and Jesse James. Says he's going straight to the source for an answer about the main event. But Road Dogg gets mad at Doc because he thought Hendricks was going to tell them the answer. And James continues that the Outlaws have no decision-making power. They haven't even been included in the process. With Doc saying they should have a say. And they're like, yeah, we should.
Yeah, it's funny because they're so dumb that they're like, oh, you know what? Maybe you should have a say. And they're like, you know what? We demand respect. And it's like, okay, guys. Yeah. But it points out they're playing idiots, but they're cheating idiots. And at least they're good at cheating.
And as you said, Billy basically says they're going to go demand some respect and grab it before the Outlaws agree to get to the bottom of things as they head out to hopefully find answers. And then we get the Attitude Era commercial that we've seen before, but this time Ahmed Johnson is where Bret Hart was in the commercial.
Yeah. A guy that's
Wild.
Is colder than he's been since his first appearance, basically.
We then get our fourth match. Jeff Jarrett with Jim Cornette, Barry Windham, And the Rock and Roll Express of Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson versus Bradshaw for the NWA North American Championship.
Didn't even say Blackjack Bradshaw.
No.
It was
Just
only a month
Bradshaw.
ago he was Jack Black. Blackjack, Jack Black. Jack Black Bradshaw.
And Barry
And
was
Kyle Gaspari Windham.
Yeah.
Blackjack Windham.
Mm-hmm.
So last time we saw Cornette was on Raw, October 6, 1997, episode 277. Windham at Survivor Series 97, episode 281.
Is the Executioner?
No, it's Blackjack Windham.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Morton at Crossing the Line Again, episode 239, where he had that singles match with his girlfriend in his corner. And it was dumb.
Yeah.
Believe me.
I mean, I like Ricky Morton, obviously.
And Gibson at the NWA World Heavyweight Title Tournament, episode 135.
Wow.
Been a while there.
Gibson, yeah, I mean, wonderful, wonderful talent.
Lawler talks the history of the NWA in Houston, with JR saying Paul Bosch would be ashamed of this NWA representation.
Oh, damn.
When Bradshaw comes out, he clears the ring with his bull rope, followed by the ref forcing Windham in the Rock and Roll Express to leave, allowing Cornette to stay because he has a manager's license.
I mean, it's
come in handy.
You don't have to say much for things to make sense sometimes. It's like, yes, that checks out. Who's going to argue it in any real way? It's like, yeah, they said he had a manager contract. A manager is a real thing. It's fine.
So some context for this match was that Bradshaw had a title match against Double J on a Raw. But Cornette, Morton, and Gibson had interfered, which brought out the Blackjack's tag partner, who immediately turned on him, joining forces with the NWA. Because what good is Windham if he's not turned on someone?
Exactly.
It's kind of his thing.
So Jarrett attempts to attack in the aisleway, but Bradshaw turns in time to deliver strikes before returning to the ring to whip Double J with his chaps. Bradshaw continues with clubbing blows, a bill toss, chops, turnbuckle smashes, a big boot, and a clothesline that sends Jarrett to the floor to regroup. But the former Blackjack follows out to keep up the attack by giving Double J and Cornette a double noggin knocker.
JR lets us know that this is the first time on a WWF pay-per-view an NWA title is on the line. Which I'm like, that seems like a big deal, except for where the NWA is at this point.
Yeah.
But
And see, in my mind, when he said that, I was like, wait, that was Smoky Mountain.
yeah, no, but like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that would be unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
So Bradshaw grabs Jim, allowing Jarrett to attack from behind, taking the fight back into the ring with drop kicks, clotheslines, and back elbows for a 2 count, before Cornette also gets involved by choking Bradshaw on the ropes. A running straddle and a Fargo strut by Double J, while Jim does some more choking, only for Blackjack to chase after Corny in and out of the ring, allowing Jarrett to nail another clothesline for a near fall. And Double J telegraphs a back body drop, but Bradshaw cradles him up for a 2 count, followed by telegraphing his own, so Jarrett goes for a sunset flip, only for Blackjack to stay up and punch down.
Getting Jarrett sucks chance. This is absolutely working.
Mm-hmm.
And you know why? Because it's simple. You can understand it. You can see it from the cheap seats. It's a smaller, cocky heel versus a big ass kicker who got done wrong. And everybody in here is talented and understands like exactly what the psychology is behind all of it.
Bradshaw's back in control with more chops and turnbuckle smashes, but he runs into a knee, allowing Double J to attempt another running straddle, which Blackjack avoids, only for Cornette to deliver a racket shot. And Jarrett begins focusing on the leg, going for the figure 4, but Bradshaw kicks Double J and goes for a lariat, only for Jarrett to duck and hit a DDT. Oof. Double J then heads to the top. Blackjack stumbles into the ropes to knock him down, allowing Bradshaw to climb up as well, only for Jarrett to block a superplex, shoving Blackjack down and flying off with a crossbody, where he's caught and dropped with a fall-away slam.
It's so simple and effective. My God.
Bradshaw with a powerbomb, when Cornette would jump on the apron, with Blackjack slingshotting him into the ring, followed by whipping Corny into Double J. Bradshaw continues to stalk after Jim, allowing Jarrett to grab the tennis racket and smacking Blackjack across the chest with it for the disqualification. So post-match, Bradshaw's back up and he steals the racket away, nailing Double J with it, which brings the Rock and Roll Express back out, only for them to receive racket shots as well.
Even.
And the ref steals away the weapon, but it doesn't stop Blackjack as he slams Cornette down before attempting a running lariat, only for Windham, who's run back down as well, trips up his former partner, allowing the NWA to stop him down when the Legion of Doom would arrive to make the save.
To a huge pop, it's the Legion of Doom, it's the Road Warriors. LOD.
So might we get a Legion of Doom and Rock and Roll Express match at some point?
Probably not, but my God, it sounds nice.
I mean, it's about 10 years past when teams.
Well, I almost brought that up, like, about at the Rumble, the LOD versus the New Age Outlaws. It wasn't quite the same, but it was the closest to that dynamic that we've had in quite a while. Where it's like, okay, smaller heel team. You know what I always forget? How goddamn large JBL is.
Mm-hmm.
He's so fucking huge. It's crazy. And he also was working hard in this match.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing to the rafters.
So we go to the locker room where Michael Cole is with Triple H in China. And Michael says that maybe they know who the mystery partner is, with Hunter replying that everybody wants to be part of DX, as they've had people knocking on their doors and ringing up their phones, from north to the south, and even Japan wanted in, because DX gets the ratings and gets the job done. Triple H then says he has decided that no one on the planet can take Shawn's place, so it will be a handicap match, that they'll get the job done no matter how many people there are. But Cole informs Hunter that WWE officials will appoint a partner if he doesn't find one, with Triple H responding, "It doesn't matter. They can hold open the ropes for us."
Just a thing to point out, NWO has been going on for a while. DX is obviously doing a similar thing, but they have learned from the mistakes. Because in this situation, instead of adding somebody to the crew, they say, nobody's good enough. They can hold the ropes open for us. They're making it exclusive. They're staying heel, and they can't, like, just throwing another guy in is not gonna, granted there's not a huge pool for them to choose from, but they've watched it be diluted on a weekly basis for over a year. They're like, they say the exact opposite thing, and they gain from it in such an exponential way.
We then go to Doc Hendricks, who's with the Nation of Domination backstage, where he talks about dissension in recent weeks. So the best thing to do is to speak with the leader of the nation. So The Rock begins to speak, only for Faarooq to interrupt him with, "You're just begging me to whoop your ass, aren't you?"
So good.
And the militant continues that everyone better fall in line with him, leading to Doc talking about the nation's actions towards Shamrock, showing a replay of Rocky destroying Ken with a chair shot, followed by reminding Faarooq that Shamrock is the most dangerous man. And the militant isn't impressed. He's lived the most dangerous neighborhoods. And when he says kick his ass, he means by any means necessary. So the entire time Faarooq was talking, The Rock is like mugging for the camera, rolling his eyes, and even did the people's eyebrows.
He sure did.
So we go to our fifth match, the Nation of Domination, of Faarooq, D'Lo Brown, Kama Mustafa, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, and The Rock, Rocky Maivia,
Intercontinental Champion,
versus Ken Shamrock, Ahmed Johnson, and the Disciples of Apocalypse of Chainz, Skull, and 8-Ball in a war of attrition match. So Brown and Skull start us off with exchange strikes as JR and the King talk about what attrition means, with Ross saying elimination, basically calling out the fact that the name doesn't fit the match type, but we'll talk more about that after the match.
Yeah. And just another thing to point out, Faarooq walks out first for the Nation. The Rock walks out last. Pointed, it's obvious, it means something.
So D'Lo escapes mounted punches with an atomic drop, followed by a spinning heel kick, but then telegraphs a back body drop, allowing Skull to deliver a DDT and a big boot. And Kid tags in to hit a running back elbow and a Japanese arm drag, before Kama and Chainz both tag in to trade right hands, big boots, and elbow drops. And Henry tags in and wants Ahmed. So they brawl away when the world's strongest man takes Johnson down with clubbing blows. Ahmed fights back with a knee to the gut and a body slam. And Johnson begins to gloat, allowing D'Lo to attack from behind, and he goes for a suplex, only for Ahmed to reverse into a front suplex. Brown is first to his feet, climbing to the top to fly off with a frog splash. And Faarooq makes his way in to hit shoulder blocks to Johnson, only for Ahmed to retaliate with a spine buster. He attempts a Pearl River plunge, but The Rock jumps in to make the save. And Skull takes the militant down with a clothesline and a power slam for a 2 count, followed by Shamrock delivering a drop kick, only for Faarooq to go below the belt to slow the momentum and tagging in Rocky. And Ken's taken down by a DDT, allowing The Rock to work him over with stomps, right hands, and chokes, before bringing Kama in to keep up the attack. But he misses a charge into a corner, bringing 8-Ball back in to lay out Mustafa with double teams. Kama answers with a forearm to the head and a side kick to regain control, with the Nation making quick tags in to work over Skull. The Rock returns with a body slam and a not-so-electrifying elbow drop for a near fall, before the Disciple continuously attempts to fire up, but the Nation is too much for him, until D'Lo hits a backbreaker and goes for a moonsault, which Skull avoids, making the crawl to the corner for the hot tag. Shamrock and The Rock both jump in the ring, followed by everybody else doing the same for some Pier 6 action.
And it set up well and the fans pop.
Rocky and Faarooq go to whip Chainz and Ken into each other, but everyone avoids each other, leading to Shamrock delivering a belly-to-belly suplex to The Rock, before applying the ankle lock for the submission and the win. Post-match, Ken celebrates with his team, followed by leaving to the back. But inside the ring, Rocky begins screaming at the militant, leading to the two men shoving each other, causing the rest of the Nation to separate them, only for Brown to get decked, so he starts yelling at Faarooq. The Rock starts to leave, but the militant tells him to return, demanding he stand in line and salute, which he eventually does.
And it's great because The Rock goes to the floor, asks for his belt, and then goes to leave. So it's like, oh, well, he's the most decorated man in this crew. And then Faarooq comes down and says, no.
So the reason this was changed from an elimination match to a single fall was because of Ahmed, who didn't want to be pinned. And in the following weeks, Johnson would also be booked to be pinned by Kane, and he refused to do that as well, leading to him being fired, making this is the last time we will see Johnson for a couple of years.
Yeah, a true shame because he was super over, and he's not over anymore, so he can't say, don't pin me, but I can understand his frustration with being like, no, I was a guy, and it's like, yeah, but you're not a guy anymore, and that sucks, but
you're a guy that just keeps getting injured.
I respect him choosing not to fall in line, but The Rock taking tap to Ken Shamrock is perfect and honestly a better finish. Ahmed Johnson loses. Nobody cares. The Rock taps out to Ken Shamrock. Everybody cares. Yeah. Like, I think this match was incredibly well worked. It was so fast. Everybody was on point. Yeah. It was, for how many people were in each corner, rarely am I as engaged as I was.
They did nice on us.
Very well put together.
Michael Cole's in the locker room with Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Michael, of course, brings up the mystery partner, with Stone Cold not giving two craps about who it is. And Austin continues that people ask him if it's good to be back in Texas, saying he's not sentimental. He'll kick someone's ass anywhere. But if you kick their ass in Texas, you've done something.
So good. So stupid, so simple, but it's like, oh yeah, that's a thing a guy from Texas would say.
Yep.
JR then sends us to a video package where we see footage of Vader destroying his opponents, but the Big Red Machine would attack him, before transitioning to highlights of Kane and his victims. Paul Bearer says the Undertaker won't show up in Houston. He's gone for eternity. So now the Big Red Machine focuses his fury on the Mastodon. We would see Kane be taken down by a pile driver from Vader, only to sit right up and nail a tombstone. But the Mastodon would answer with a fire extinguisher in a different meeting, spraying the Big Red Machine with chemicals. As the narrator says, Vader must step up, but if he fails, there's no way out of Texas. Clink.
Clink.
So our competitors trade stiff shots, headbutts, and clotheslines when the fight spills to the floor, where the Big Red Machine rams the Mastodon into the ring and the ring steps. And they return to the ring momentarily, only for Vader to dump his opponent right back out, sending Kane into the post several times, before fighting on the apron, where the Big Red Machine hits a hot shot and heads up top for a flying clothesline.
This is a pretty physical Kane.
Yeah.
Also, Vader is feeling himself and he's getting cheers.
Kane stays on the attack with chokes, a suplex. He drapes the Mastodon on the ropes, followed by a leaping forearm to knock him back into the ring. More punishments delivered with right hands, rakes of the eyes, and a body slam, when Vader would rally with clotheslines and avalanche attacks, only for the Big Red Machine to hit a DDT. The Mastodon fires up again with more clotheslines and more avalanche attacks, when Kane goes for a chokeslam. Vader blocks by going low, following up with a short arm clothesline, a splash, and a moonsault, only for the Big Red Machine to sit right up. The Mastodon with another avalanche and a clothesline that sends Kane to the floor, where they brawl around ringside, but Vader would grab a fire extinguisher to spray the Big Red Machine and roll him into the ring. And the Mastodon nails a powerbomb, when Bear would jump on the apron, distracting Vader, allowing Kane to again sit up, deliver a choke slam and a tombstone for the pin and the win. Hey, Kevin Nash, that's how you powerbomb and pile drive a big man.
Also, like, Vader is so over. Kane keeps getting up. Nobody wants him to win. And the crowd deflates at Vader's loss, but not in a negative way, because Kane is a threat. And you might not be happy about it, but he means a little bit more now. And this was, very rarely do you see big guys have a good match. Mm-hmm. I thought this was great.
Post-match, the Big Red Machine sets off his pyro, and the lights turn red, before picking up the extinguisher. But he changes his mind when he sees a giant wrench instead.
Oh, no. Cartoon-sized wrench.
And Kane clocks the Mastodon across the face with it, followed by leading to the back as medics come to the aid of Vader, loading him onto a stretcher to take the Mastodon to the back as well.
I think his face may be dented in.
Vader does a stretcher job, but like on his belly. Have you ever seen anybody do a stretcher job ass up? And I will say that like the cartoonish wrench, it's a little too big, but they turn the lights down. So the shot looks as good as it could. With the lights up, it would have sucked some of like what I thought was good about this out of it. It's like, well,
so
they were smart about it.
So if you remember, Vader had that plate in his face from the eye popping out of his... he basically needed surgery to do some work on that plate. So they did this to write him off of TV.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But he had a great match on his way out.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought this was wonderful.
Ross then sends us to a video recap of our main event with narration and highlights. How far is too far? These 8 men have taken it to the edge and shoved it right over. As we see the Outlaws push a dumpster over the edge of the stage onto the floor. The narration continues that this team of degenerates is led by the WWF champion, as we get glimpses of each member of the team. We then switch to the other team, as narration says this team of individuals is out of control and refuses to be led by anyone. Now these 8 men who have wreaked havoc throughout the Federation are thrown together with one eye on the ring and the other looking over their shoulder. In a match like this, the ring might be the safest place, but the man responsible for so much of the mayhem will not set foot in the ring. Instead, he will manipulate from the sidelines and will handpick his successor. Tonight, in the match that will shape WrestleMania, only Shawn Michaels can calculate what lies ahead. 8 men who have already gone too far will dictate our future tonight. So we go to our 7th match. The New Age Outlaws of Road Dogg Jesse James, Badass Billy Gunn, Triple H with Chyna, and Savio Vega.
One of these things is not like the other.
Versus Owen Hart, Cactus Jack, Chainsaw Charlie, and Stone Cold Steve Austin in a non-sanctioned match.
8-man tag, anything goes, one fall to a finish. Yeah, that's kind of what's going on.
Savio hated Stone Cold before Triple H and any of them even knew who he was, really. So
pretty funny that Savio
good little addition.
Was like the guy that Stone Cold had a match with for like 6 months at the beginning of his career in WWF, and now they're like, yeah, and I guess Savio's in here, and we don't really want him here. I guess he can hold the ropes open for us. And an 8-man tag for a pay-per-view wouldn't happen without somebody like Stone Cold Steve Austin in it.
Well, just pointing out that if Shawn Michaels is in this match, it's the top 3 matches for WrestleMania.
Very good point.
So it makes sense.
Yeah. I guess, if Shawn was here, it would be, You can't have Shawn without Austin on the other side of it, but Austin's so hot. You can make it work.
So the Outlaws bring a table out, while Jack brings a full trash bin of weapons, throwing them into the ring, causing DX and company to bell to the floor. And as Stone Cold is doing his 4-quarter salute, Gunn jumps back in the ring, so Austin attacks him with right hands, a Fez press, elbow drops, and atomic drops, leading to everyone brawling using the various plunder that was brought to the ring.
And this shit is hot as hell. Crowd is bananas.
Stone Cold goes for the stunner, but Badass escapes to the floor, allowing Austin to nail everyone with trash can lid shots. Austin then sends Triple H to the corner for a flare flip, landing him back in the ring for Stone Cold to deliver a clothesline for a 2 count, before they make their way to the floor to fight with a mop.
And I haven't seen cameras flash in the crowd since like the 80s. Like just people taking crummy photos from the stands. The camera flash. The thing I feel like that I haven't clocked in quite a while. I'm like, Jesus.
Jack and Charlie work over Road Dogg, bringing a table into the ring, while Austin drops Hunter onto the railing. And Chainsaw sends James face first into the table, which is set up in a corner.
Unbreak.
While Triple H is rolled back in to have the same done to him. Cactus then whips gun towards Owen, who back body drops him through the table, while Stone Cold sends Vega into the ring steps on the outside. And Hart locks on the sharpshooter to Billy, only for Hunter to jump in the ring to break it up, while Austin continues to work over Savio outside. Chairs and trash cans are all used by Charlie, Jack, and Owen on Triple H and Road Dogg, while Gunn has made his way outside to help Vega. And Hunter catches Hart going for a Hurricanrana, driving him down with a powerbomb. And Savio's back into the ring to use a lid over Chainsaw multiple times that gets a near fall, before Triple H does the same with a trash can and hitting a DDT. And Owen makes the save, nails an enziguri, and takes down Hunter to apply the sharpshooter. But James smacks Hart with a chair to break it up.
There's so much going on, but you can track everything that's happening. It's so well shot, and everybody, I don't know what it is about it, but you can somehow keep an eye on everything that's happening. And, we don't get that a lot. We've seen a lot of matches where people hit each other with trash. So this stands out.
Road Dogg then sets up a table of chairs before low-blowing Charlie and driving him through them with a powerbomb, which somehow finally settles us down into an actual tag match.
Yep.
With Badass hitting a pile driver of Chainsaw onto a trash can lid for a 2 count. Triple H comes in with right hands, stopping Charlie down, followed by Vega keeping up the attack with more right hands while holding Chainsaw's suspenders. James tags in and back suplexes onto a lid for a near fall, when Charlie would start firing up with headbutts, but he's too wore out to make it to his corner. Gunn runs in to help Road Dogg, so Austin just throws a trash can at him, nailing him in the head.
Perfectly.
But this allows James to drag Chainsaw back to DX's corner, where they continue the punishment with a trash can and a chair, causing Charlie to fall out of the ring and onto his head.
Ugh. Yeah, that trash can throw from Stone Cold was pretty fucking beautiful.
It was, everybody, you can feel the adrenaline of everybody in this match. Like, everybody knows that they're nailing it. It's kind of magic in a weird way.
Back in the ring, Chainsaw stumbles around the ring after hitting a shoulder block, but makes it to his corner to tag in Jack, who cleans house with right hands and clotheslines. He places a piece of the broken table on James and whips Billy into it, followed by a double-arm DDT to Badass. Cactus then locks on the mandible claw to both Outlaws, only for Triple H to break it up with a low blow. But a telegraphed back body drop by Gunn allows Jack to kick him away before delivering a cactus clothesline to take them both to the floor. And Jack blocks a James attack, but he turns right into a DDT from Billy, followed by a body slam and dropping the steel steps onto him. And they return to the ring, where Triple H hits a snap suplex for a 2 count, while Savio has found a roll of barbed wire and begins to wrap it around Cactus. And DX starts using chairs on the wire-wrapped Jack, including one where Road Dogg's holding him, only for Cactus to duck in time, causing James to take the shot and allowing Jack to make the crawl for the hot tag. Austin nails everyone with right hands, double noggin knockers, and stomps before delivering a stunner to James for the pin and the win.
And it's so quick, and it's the hottest tag we've seen in ages.
Post-match, Stone Cold nails another stunner to Gunn, followed by knocking Triple H off the apron, leaving Austin alone to pose. When Chyna would enter the ring and get in Stone Cold's face, and he goes to walk away, only for Chyna to shove him. But he just shakes it off.
Yeah, he's not taking it seriously.
And goes to leave once more, when she flips him off. So Austin turns and hits another stunner.
Crowd goes fucking bananas.
Stone Cold then grabs the mic yelling, "Oh, hell yeah!" as the King says, that Mike Tyson is the only man with a chance to control Austin, as JR says his goodbyes, and we fade to black. So I got a fun fact here for you.
Let's hear it.
This is the first pay-per-view in WWF history that the world champion did not appear on camera.
Oh, wow.
And only the second one that the champion didn't compete. The other one being, it was Shawn then as well. And but he ended up being on commentary.
No, I was kidding. Yeah. Interesting, but they didn't need him. Which is incredibly impressive.
So I ask you, gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts of No Way Out of Texas in your house?
It's pretty good. It's a pretty good show, but the last two matches make up for anything earlier in the show that you may have kind of been bored by, because the last two matches are so good that you turn it off and you got your adrenaline's kind of going, because everything worked. The crowd was nuts, and it was fun. I don't know if I've seen 8 men have a match that on paper should just be oh yeah, whatever, but then turn it into something that feels like it means something. And of course, Vader and Kane was way better than it had any right to be.
I mean, for the most part, this isn't a terrible show. It was nice to see Mero back as a curtain jerker, getting the crowd pumped up. As we've already established, the Headbangers aren't really that exciting to watch.
No, they're just they're the new Godwinns in a different way.
I mean, they get the crowd going to an extent, but nothing too spectacular. But I don't know. I mean, the little Sable swerve at the end was
the best
nice.
Sable performance we might ever see.
Taka looked good in his little championship.
And then Pantera put on a really fun high-paced match.
Nothing over the top memorable to start the show off, but I mean it started off solid. I mean, the Quebecers, that match was kind of blah, but I enjoyed the Jeff Jarrett Bradshaw match just because of all the extras, because I don't remember Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson showing back up.
I feel all the psychology for pretty solid in the ring on this show.
Yeah. I mean, it's another one of those that it was a fun, easy watch. There's some stuff that didn't make sense just because I didn't know exactly what the hell was happening, but I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it more than the last one that we watched last week. So
yeah.
This
all mostly makes sense, which is makes everything a little bit easier.
I just had fun with it.
So what most people remember from this show is the disappointing replacement. But of course, Savio isn't Shawn Michaels.
No.
But he doesn't take away from a fun main event.
No. I think this main event, I was fine, whatever. And I think my low expectations probably ultimately made me feel higher on it. But I thought that this was pretty fucking great. And it might have a lot to do with, we've seen a lot of trash matches. And we're okay, they hit him with a Nintendo. And then the guy bled. But I understood what everybody was doing. Nobody was, everybody was working hard, and everybody knew where they were, and the camera caught everything, and you could even see the small stuff that matters. One of my favorite moments in this whole show is Billy Gunn is about to pile drive Chainsaw Charlie, Terry Funk, but before he does it, he looks over at Stone Cold, flexes and lifts him, and Stone Cold looks away as he pile drives him because Stone Cold broke his neck on a pile driver recently. And I thought that was fucking genius.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy it.
I mean, the rest of the show is fine. There's nothing amazing, but I'm not going to sit here and complain about anything else that was on this show.
No. The Rock Shamrock finish is obviously better than the Ahmed Johnson taking a pin finish. The Rock, losing to...
Well, everybody would have taken a pin in the original way that they were going to do it.
Oh, okay, because it would have been eliminated.
Yeah, one team would have been fully eliminated.
But this is more interesting, I think.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? All right, fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up. What are some of those best moments of this show?
I've already said the Sable thing. I'll just start from the top there. Sable's
Austin
performance
pop.
was great.
When it somehow settles down to a tag match, and they're like, okay, well, they went nuts, but I guess we reined it in enough. The ref was working hard, so it made enough sense in the moment. But then the hot tag to Austin is so hot, and I was like, all right, there's 5 minutes left of the show. What's he gonna do? And then he just clears it out, and fucking and nobody's mad. Mm-hmm. All they needed was him to do the thing. Time didn't matter. They just needed to see it. And
that crowd home happy.
Yeah, and I fed off of the energy.
Yeah, I'll give a little special shout out for Sable and Sunny because the parts that they had they both played them well. You know, Sunny made her little stint as the ring announcer. You know, she got the crowd worked up.
It's always good to see the Rock and Roll Express.
Absolutely. Yes. Would have liked to see more. Impressed by Bradshaw. I think that this show on paper, it's like, okay, that's a thing that happened. But watching it versus your expectations, I think it over-delivers for the most part. So on paper, you're like, yeah, I kind of can see what that would be. But like the Jarrett Bradshaw, I think is so simple and so well executed. It's like, yeah, this has happened a million times, but they did it right tonight, and we haven't seen it in a while. And people hate Jarrett. They don't love Bradshaw, but he looks awesome. So, yeah, everybody wins.
During the Nation of Domination interview, Rock just mugging it up for the camera.
Yep.
It was perfect.
He's definitely feeling himself. Same match there. You add in Ahmed Johnson, you take out Crush, and I don't hate the Disciples of Apocalypse. Granted, Ahmed Johnson was just Ahmed
Your
Johnson.
Hate of Crush. So
hey,
funny.
it continues on without him. Yeah, that match just kind of stood out. That one was extra fun. And I think had he been there, it would have ruined it for me.
I mean, I loved Kane and Vader.
Yeah, it was a very fun match.
I thought that was great because big guy matches don't... I think that everybody on this show was working incredibly hard, and Vader and Kane was, you don't see two big guys have a match that's that engaging very often. And I thought that Vader was more energetic, and we've seen him in a long time. Kane is being more agile and looking more human in this match than we've seen him to this point. And I thought it was super effective.
How about most disappointing?
I'm not going to say Savio Vega because they put it over in the package, and Savio was fine in the match. He was working, hard, but like.
I'm gonna push back on that just a small bit.
Yeah.
Because they may not have known like the day after Royal Rumble how bad the injury was, but they had a pretty good idea that Shawn was not going to be able to be on this show, and they continued to advertise it basically as he was going to be there, and be in this match. And then once you realize that is the thing, why would you not
cut it down to 3 or 3?
Figure out something else.
But I'm glad they didn't just shoehorn in a new DX member. That would have been bad.
Well, there was a rumor that they were going to bring Psycho Sid back.
Yeah, Sid was too busy playing softball.
Pretty much. But that was a rumor that there was. But like I said, Savio Vega didn't do a bad job in this match, but possibly bringing someone in that would have made a bigger impact.
Yeah.
Out comes Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious.
He's too busy doing drugs.
Yeah, different type of ball.
I mean, unfortunately, also Quebecers, Godwinns, it is the piss break match on the show, but a lot of it's just because it's two heel teams. Why are two heel teams?
Nobody hates the Godwinns so much or the Quebecers enough for it to mean there's nothing to gain from either guys. from either team winning, and none of them really have any like fully realized character at all. But Quebecers are great in-ring workers, and the Godwinns are good at what they do, but they're used for a specific like style of match.
And we do have to call out Christopher for making the racist comment.
Yeah,
because that is disappointing.
Yes,
but hey, even JR was like, "Dude, what the hell?"
That's true.
And I was shocked, isn't the right word, but was surprised. My ears perked when I was like, "Damn, dude!" And then and then JR shoots it down immediately, which it's like he could have just been like, move on or whatever.
Look over at Lawler and like that's how you control your kid.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that he went a little too far, and JR handled it like the wonderful broadcaster.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that he is still ultimately not cool, but kind of funny. And Pantera and Taka was really good and really entertaining, and they worked hard as hell. And it's like, who the hell is Pantera? But
random generated light heavyweight.
Yeah,
guy.
But
Can we get some Metallica next time?
But yeah, but I'm not mad because it was a good match.
As long as he walks.
Yeah. What did you say?
How about best performer of the night?
I'm gonna give it to. I mean, Austin is king shit. I guess it almost has to go to The Rock, but I wanted to give it to Vader.
It's The Rock.
It's The Rock, but I know it's The Rock. I want to give it to Vader because I saw Vader be excited for the first time in a while.
That match was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really loved it. But The Rock definitely is the clear answer.
Vader just looked extra pumped that I can hit somebody that can take me hitting them.
Yeah. And they did big moves to each other, and it was not a slog. They weren't, I thought that was so good. But The Rock, obviously, he got the most out of this show. Stone Cold Steve Austin could have fucking farted, and everybody would have fucking lost their mind. The Rock just added more value to himself.
And how about most surprising?
I guess that I figured that they would keep Shamrock and The Rock away from each other. So when The Rock tapped out to Shamrock for that finish, I was not expecting it, but I was elated by it and thought that it was the most
builds to WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't assume that going into the match, so I found that
he had to get his win back.
Yeah. But they just as easily could have not done it.
I was surprised by the China stuff at the very end.
Oh, the stun.
I mean, not that she got stunned, but just that she even got in the ring to, because it doesn't really ever go anywhere. So it's kind of like...
It's just another one of those send the crowd home happy parts.
It's basically just another person for Austin to stun.
The stun is such a huge pop. And also, Sean's not here. China's been around for a while. Has she really gotten any just desserts? And it's like, well, Sean might not be here, but you want to see a lady get her large jaw cracked over a man's shoulder?
That's also what Austin does. He goes for the entire faction. He went after each of the Hart Foundation. He went after each of the commentators. He did his stunner on Lawler, McMahon, and JR, so he's making his way through DX now.
Also, if Austin was warming up, or even if it was 20% less over, him spamming everybody with a stunner would have been kind of ridiculous. But here, everybody is just salivating for it. So it's oh, you got to hold back and then know when to feed them. If you want rabid wolves, you don't feed them every day at the same time.
Making their way to the ring.
It's trivia time. So this week, the category is TikTok.
Tick-tock on the clock, but the party don't stop.
We're doing time stuff.
So I'll give you 5 points for whoever is closest to the time of a match that I will give you.
I love this
And
one.
you can go over. It's just whoever's closest. So the match is from Enter Sandman, Axel Rotten versus Ian Rotten.
Oh my god.
In a barbed wire baseball bat, barbed wire chair match.
They had so many matches.
So how long was that match? You might want to write these down so no one can Price is Right you.
Alright.
Say it again. A barbed wire.
Barbed wire baseball bat, barbed wire chair match.
I have 2 numbers in my head.
This is actual time, not TV time, right?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Michael, what was your time? 10 minutes, 55 seconds. Shane, 11 minutes, 13 seconds. And the 5 points goes to Michael.
Oh my god. I
As
can't
the
believe it.
Official time was 6 minutes and 18 seconds.
7:43 was my first one.
My first guess was 12, and then I was like, maybe 8, and I was like, no, I'll kind of like split the difference. You never know with those guys.
You never know.
Especially, it's like, how am I going to remember that show? We complained about their matches every time one happened.
Next week, Super Brawl 8.
Oh, this is the rematch.
Hopefully we'll get Hogan and Sting with a finish.
Yay.
Maybe?
I mean,
Oh, which Sting will we get, though? Will we get Sting? Will we get 7-foot-tall Sting with the plastic mask on stepping over top ropes?
I think it'll be Sting.
Will we get
Who knows?
shorter but much tanner Sting?
I feel like Sting is back, but I don't know when he goes NWO or whatever. I don't know. Wasn't a WCW guy. I'm learning.
So music from this week's show is Jersey Splitter by Chris Minnie and Jeff Levin. And Stone Cold One Main Event. So we play Hell Frozen Over,
Yeah,
version 3 by Jim Johnston. If you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there, rate and review us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you find your podcasts at. If you do the YouTube thing, like, subscribe,
Share. Tell a friend.
comment, share,
Ring that
ring
bell.
that bell. That's right.
Oh my god. Come on.
And if you have any questions, comments, concerns,
Where are we going next?
Daly City, California.
Going back to Cali.
Dailies. Where's Dailies?
I'm not real sure.
Don't look it up. We'll talk about it later. It's not important.
If you
Like,
know
I've never
where
even heard
Daly
of that.
City is,
Never heard of that in
slide
my
into
life.
our DMs. Let us know. What's good in Daly City, California? What cities are close to Daly City in California?
And there's a lot of places in California. I've never heard of Daily City in my life.
But who knows? Maybe this is like outside of Studio City, and this is just like the.
It's like a suburb of San Francisco.
Okay.
All right, so Daly. Yeah, I have no idea. So give me some ideas. What the hell do people enjoy in Daly? You ever been there before? What did you?
Saltwater.
California.
I mean, I don't know. I just know that basically any
go to like Fisherman Wharf website or something. And
any coast has it, but I don't know what if there's famous schools.
Make some prison wine.
okay.
What's the Rock? Alcatraz. That's I know. I was trying to remember the name. I was thinking out loud, guys. There's a lot of prisons in California.
I went to San Francisco as a kid.
That's the one I was
What was it?
Pruno. That's
No.
prison wine.
Oh. I'm trying to remember what the hell did I eat as a kid in San Francisco.
Fish
Remember we
and
got-
chips or something.
I remember we went and picked out a crab.
We got them in rice.
Rice roni.
San Francisco Street.
But this is Daly City.
It's true.
Maybe that's where it originated.
Might be.
We'll look it up. We'll figure it out, but you know, I can always use the help, so slide into our DMs, shoot us an email, something.
Our email is wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com or find us on X, WrestlingHistoX. Wrestling HISTO. X. We'll talk to you next week.
Later.